just wanted to play my video games. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be, and welcome back to Honey Badger Arcade. Today, I'm going to be looking at something a little bit more political and trying to make the case that, in fact, everything that we are dealing with in this sort of like cultural media space, our hobbies, is in fact related to a broader picture, and we have to stop pretending like it isn't. I'm not saying that we all do this. Maybe a lot of you guys, maybe most of you are aware of this issue, but it seems like all too many people think that someone essentially wokeifying your favorite video games or hobbies is a harmless endeavor in the larger picture. And I, for one, am frankly sick and tired of people making excuses for what is essentially communists, Bolsheviks, woke Marxists, whatever you want to call it, trying to destroy not just our media, not just our interests, not just our hobbies, but our entire society, our civilization. They are tearing it down. They're doing it on purpose. They don't care about the rule of law. They don't care about the people they claim to care about. They only care about the revolution. And this is a revolution that goes back a long, long way. Some people say the revolution started in the 1960s and 70s. Some people say the revolution started around World War I. Some people say it started during the Enlightenment. I think it started over 2,000 years ago. I won't make the case for this right now. It's just my suspicion, but we are in the midst of the same revolution, and what is happening right now in the United States is related to it politically. And I know that you guys are aware, and I apologize. There's some gardeners out here, and they're like cutting the grass, so you might have a little bit of sound coming in, but yeah, you might not believe that. You might think this is hyperbolic, but I guarantee you, in my opinion, it is not. So we're gonna get into a couple of stories today. There's a couple things I want to do, but I also do still want to talk about the gaming landscape and the absolute state of our art, because that is ultimately what we are talking about. So get comfortable, because this could be a long stream. I don't know how long it's going to take, but it could be a long one. I see a couple people watching on the vertical shorts, so welcome shorts people. And the few people watching on the horizontal, I see that there's a couple people watching on Rumble, so welcome everybody. Please feel free to add some comments so I don't feel like I'm talking to myself, because that's awkward, and I will endeavor to respond to them. In the description of this video, just real quick, there is a link to my Discord server. On the Discord server, we have, it's a small place right now. I'm hoping that it will grow, but the purpose of the Discord server primarily is to form a little bit of community where people can share ideas and information with each other. Maybe there are some of you guys are really good at research. Maybe this is something you're interested in. I noticed that people have approached me to talk about things that they don't feel like they can talk about, either because maybe they don't think that they can deliver messaging that well or whatever. And I am more than happy to do that, because I think that ultimately I just want the truth to get out there. I just want people to know what's going on so that they can be well equipped to fight against it. That's it. I don't care about any of this other shit. So hello, Toby Alting. He says, even if you ignore the politics, they hate you. They hate that you enjoy what you do. Robert Johnson says, cozy chill stream. Thank you. John Ford says, state of play was a joke. Yeah, we're gonna look at state of play first. It was hilariously bad. Probably some of the most mid shit ever, but there is some cause for, well, concern, I guess. Like, shit's getting wokeified left and right. I just learned that it looks like, and this is really disappointing, Warhammer Space Marine 2 might be screwed. So we're like, this could be a problem. I'm not surprised by this at all, honestly, because anything that becomes big and popular is the things that they attack. So yeah, but not good news, but not really surprising news. At least I have the first one. I mean, hell, our coding has become woke. The coding itself is going to be woke. So, you know, we have to like know what we're dealing with so that we can fight against it. All right. So, I guess that welcome to the stream, everybody. What's up, chat? I hope you guys are doing well. It's a nice day out here in southwestern Virginia on a Friday. My wife is working. I have to work a little later, most likely. So I have the morning free. And while I would love to just sit down and play some video games, I would love to do that. Like, you know, I'm home, just me and Jojo. By the way, Jojo is there. You should say hi to the dog because he loves it when people give him attention and pats. So here's Jojo. I'll try to put his face on the screen so you guys can see him. But I can't do that. I can't do that because one of our, like, the most popular nominee for president of 2024 has just been kangaroo courted into oblivion. And I don't like, it's funny that the people who have the most to say about that are not even from this country. This is an absolute travesty. And I'm going to tell you, you know, I got interviewed by Tachyon Blue like a while back, and he was certain that the relationship between the 2016 election and Gamergate did not exist, or at least he didn't think it was. It should have been a connective, like there shouldn't be connective tissue there. And I'm going to demonstrate today that it actually, in fact, is, because Trump is not, he is a direct result or consequence of people that are sick and tired of tone policing, woke feminist garbage coming from the left and the right, by the way. And it's being expressed. It's been expressed in that way. We don't like neocons. We don't like leftists. We don't like Democrats. We don't like fucking rhinos. We were done with all of it. We wanted to be like a nation that was focused on itself, stop policing the world, stop getting involved in foreign wars. And this is something that only the autism of gamers could possibly sniff out. And it was just true. It was true. Okay. And I'm going to show you, like, when these things happened, there is a relationship between the culture war and the political landscape. It's just not deniable. Okay. It's just a matter of how you come to notice these things, essentially. So anyway, John Ford says Silent Hill 2 remake looks worse than the HD version. Yeah, I know, dude. Silent Hill 2 looks bad. All right, let's take a look at the state of play stuff. Let's get into that first, okay? So I'm gonna try, and unfortunately they didn't put any time codes, and I don't want to watch the whole thing because I got a lot of deeper stuff I want to dig into here. But I certainly want to look at the state of play because it does give you an idea of, like, despite what the customers want, despite like everything else, these people are just barreling towards essentially the end of history. Like this is commie shit, full stop. I know most of the people who work in these companies are basically like just useful idiots. They do this stuff because they think that it's right, because it makes them feel good about themselves, because it makes them feel morally superior. It also gives them a sense of belonging. This is what the whole thing is about. I think I did a video on this where I explained that the way the woke cult works is that there are 3 rings. And so you have like the outermost ring of people that are called the outer circle. And this is, I think, Mao Zedong also framed it in this way. And in the outer circle, you have people who, they just want to feel like they belong to something. This is how you get your college activist types, right? The people who are protesting in college campuses. And by the way, not just any college campuses. These are the most prestigious campuses in the country. Harvard, Yale, right? Columbia, UIC. These are like the most prestigious colleges in the country. And they have the dumbest people that are doing the dumbest shit. Like they're setting up tents, and they're protesting, and they don't know really what the protests are about. And this is what I mean. The outer circle are people who are not really informed on what's going on, but they participate because they feel they're told by the cathedral that they're on the right side of history if they participate. So if you go into, an encampment of protesters for, involved in this, like, that are commenting on their thoughts on this whole Israel-Palestine thing, most of them don't know what it's really about. They just know genocide and from the river to the sea. They're just repeating stuff. Now, I'm not saying this because I'm caping for Israel. I have my problems with Israel, but I'm not going to get into that here. I just, I don't have a dog in this fight. I don't think the United States should be funding this shit, but I believe they shouldn't be funding Ukraine either. Sorry, but that's just my opinion, right? We weren't, when Trump was in office, there were no wars. In fact, there were wars that were ended. Like, it's like unprecedented. Like every president before that, Republican and Democrat, were involved in foreign wars for no reason. And that probably goes all the way back to World War I, probably. But anyway, so the outer circle is people who don't really know, like, what things are at play. They know how to repeat talking points. They at most they have like a college education, which is essentially indoctrination, and they just want to belong. Okay. Then you have the inner circle, not the inner circle. I'm sorry. There's the outer school. That's what it is. The outer school. Then you have the inner school, and the inner school are like the academics. Like they study this stuff. They know it's Marxism. They know it's about communism at the end of the day. They love to deconstruct. These are like your feminist academics, your critical race theorists, your Ibram X. Kendis, your Robin DiAngelos, your Andrea Dworkins, Gloria Steinems, and their whole thing is that they're more learned on like the theory behind it. They can make the arguments. They know how to make their statements about things, but they don't really know what's going on. And then you have the inner circle, and this is like a small group of people, but they're the ones that are essentially manufacturing this shit. These are like the Larry Finks and the George Soroses and stuff. And no, and don't give me this like it's a, that sounds like some Alex Jones shit. No, Alex Jones is right a lot of the time. This is really real shit that happens, okay? So we're going to talk a little bit about Bridge later, because that is, I believe, potentially inner circle shit, but definitely inner school shit going on. And so, and it's all about like, it's not just about your video games. It's not just about your movies and your TV shows. It's about everything. Like when you go buy gasoline, when you buy food at the grocery store, when you get new tires for your car, like it's in everything that we need to live. And all of it is being torn down to turn America and Canada and the UK and Europe into third world countries. And so when you turn them into third world countries, then you can have your communist takeover, because now they can destroy everything and say, look, it didn't work, but we're here to move in. And that's why we have to like stand firm on this stuff. This isn't, I mean, the video game shit is I'm not saying it's not important, because I think it is. I think that when people attack your media and your hobbies, they're kind of setting a precedent for what they want to do, like in the large scheme. So when like supposed, for example, conservatives will be like, well, you shouldn't be playing video games anyway because it's for kids. They're useful idiots too, because they're playing into it. At the end of the day, none of that shit's going to exist. Like the people who are making our games woke, they're also going to be lined up against the wall. Like they're also like, they're not going to have any of that. We're not going to have any of it. So we have to stand firm on this stuff. Like when the Bolshevik Revolution was going on in Russia, okay, the only thing that Russians had to like essentially have a sense of beauty, because if you look at what Soviet Russia looked like in terms of its architecture and the art, right? There were no cathedrals. They destroyed churches. They killed priests and Christians. They built big block buildings, like the brutalist architecture is what it was called. And the purpose of that was to demoralize, right? And that's what they're trying to do to us now. That's why I keep saying to people, no matter how bad things get, do not get black pilled, because that's what they want. That's the goal. The goal is to black pill you, okay? So that you stop fighting. And I don't think you should do that. I think you should keep, like just speaking the truth. Just keep telling people what you believe. So the only thing that kept Russians, like Russian citizens, like not people who were in the party, just people who lived in the country. The one thing that they had as a kind of refuge, as sanctuary, was in fact the Eastern Orthodox Church, the Eastern Orthodox Christian Church, of which I have converted. I am an Orthodox Christian because I think that that's like the strongest resistance to this. Like the Protestants, they're completely, for the most part, they're cut, okay? And part of it has to do with the fact that they allowed themselves to be infiltrated as well. That's why there's so much woke church shit going on in Protestant churches in the country, if you've noticed. And the Catholics are not much better because of the Pope, and there's a lot of like infiltration in the Catholic Church too. And the Catholic Church is, I think it is a particularly rich target because it has a Pope and a kind of top-down thing. But the Orthodox Church is a little bit more, let's say, scattered. Like there are different, patriarchs. That's what you call like the top priests. They don't have a Pope. They're a little less, organized. But my point is this. That was the only place where there was some semblance of beauty in Soviet Russia, was in that church, okay? Now, I'm not saying that beauty has to be religious in nature. I'm saying that the purpose of communism, as one of the things that they do, one of their goals, is to destroy all that is beautiful. This is why they uglify everything. This is why they get away from anything that they see that has a sense of what is they deem to be property. So, for example, male and female as categories of sex are a kind of property, and that property has to be torn down. It has to be subverted, which is why they make everything androgynous, because it's not just because they themselves see themselves as neither male or female and they have like clearly a mental problem, but also because the very notion of a male or female as a thing is the enemy to them. So it has to go. And this comes out in the artwork, right? There can be no such thing as objectivity. This is like why postmodernism is very popular with them. They like the idea of being able to create their own reality, or being like they're the god of their own world, right? They get to decide what is truth. That's why they say things like my truth as opposed to the truth. You have to, and I'm telling you all this because you have to stop accepting this. This is language annihilation, what they're doing. Okay. So anyway, I said I that was a big old preamble, but we should get into the video. So was my chat still working? Cozy Chill Stream, hey, what's up? Silent Hill 2 remake. I want to see some comments. And again, join my Discord. There's a link in the description. Doesn't cost anything. Just come hang out. They're very good people there. And I think that we're all mostly on the same page. So please consider joining the Discord and help this conversation expand. Okay. So let's see what this is about. Firewalk. What is this?
We announced their first game, Concord, last year.
Oh, Concord.
Today, they're revealing gameplay captured in-engine on PS5. But first, here's an extended vignette introducing some of the cool characters you'll find in the Concord galaxy. Enjoy.
So Concord is, I think this is the live service game that they advertised, right? So, and it's basically like Overwatch meets Guardians of the Galaxy, is what people are saying. That doesn't sound super appealing to me. Ooh, very diverse. Is this sound okay, or is it like fighting with my own volume? I'm not really saying anything while I'm playing this, but I want to make sure this looks okay. Robert Johnson says 5v5 FPS. Yeah, it's like Overwatch, or what was the one that everyone's playing right now? Apex Legends. Chat totally not working. Why is the chat working? You're on YouTube? I may have to do a quick refresh. Maybe. Let me just get this working because I want to make sure it's good. Okay. Live chat. Are you watching the vertical stream, Art 4's, or the regular horizontal stream? Because I have it on two places. I see your live chat here. John Ford says, I'm looking forward the John Wick pinball machine. Is a John Wick pinball machine? Is it a video game? Okay, you're on the vertical. I don't know if there's an issue with that. I know I am kind of like spread a little bit thin on my bit rate because I'm streaming to multiple platforms at once. So it might be a me issue, and if it is, I apologize. Okay. So let's watch some more of this absolute beautiful art.
Jukebox.
It wasn't the plan.
It was a spontaneous, creative decision made after years of careful research.
Being really old and almost dying a bunch doesn't count as research.
Almost dying is the best way to learn how not to die. Besides, it worked, didn't it?
How much longer for the upload?
A few more minutes. Hey, start top. Try it with hot sauce. You'll like it. Trust me.
No. Do not trust him.
No. Where's this coming from?
It's coming from you back on the ship saying, trust me, we're professionals. We'll stick to the plan. We can do this. And then, that.
Pursuing free gunner suspects now on the run, causing downtime.
That was not the plan.
Technically, it was a plan. It just wasn't the same plan that we started with.
If we don't leave with this blue light...
Amar, we will. We will.
I'll be waiting outside.
No one moves. We'll be taking this off your hands.
What? This?
Funny.
They're saying that this is running in engine. I'm sorry, I'm pressing X to doubt on that. Also, this is like, why is it that this is so generic feeling to me? Like, it's just the Guardians of the Galaxy. It's like the James Gunn video game. We've already done that, guys. We've already done that. They did it with Guardians, which was, I liked Guardians of the Galaxy. I thought it was a good movie. But then they tried to like do this over again with like the what is it called? The Suicide Squad movies. I think it was called Suicide Squad, right? And I mean, this is just like, you guys are running out of ideas, man. You're running out of ideas. We'll just throw a bunch of aliens together. They're gonna talk like super like current year English, and they're gonna have like all this like kind of modern way of speaking. Like, this is just so boring. I'm bored already. But I will finish the trailer. This is cringe though.
Slow them down a little for you. Meet at the rendezvous point.
Wait, what? Where's
Very diverse.
that?
Copy that, Bill.
Deal now! Well played.
Fine. They only got one of my legs.
How are those hands? How bad is it? You're still mad at me?
Legs!
Got him.
One off. This is you.
Got it!
I am developing a taste for destruction. Goodbye.
a very dishonorable way for us all to die.
Don't worry. Nobody's dying dishonorably. And also, we're bringing this back with us.
Yeah, okay. Man, they're all just like stereotypes. Like the gentle giant that has like a code of honor. Like we did this with Worf in like the 90s, you know, and a big robot that's like, you know, like so sort of insensitive to human feelings. So he says like inappropriate shit, like literally the same droid as it's like the droid from what was it called? Rogue One. I mean, like I'm just not moved by any of this stuff. Art Force says, yeah, generic current year quirky character trope. Yeah, you know, it's so boring, right? It's so boring. John Ford says it came out May 7th. You're talking about the John Wick. Is it an actual pinball machine or is it like a pinball machine simulator that's a video game? I mean, either way, I just think it's kind of interesting. So, all right. Lollipop Chainsaw, he wrote the script for. Okay. You know what? I never played Lollipop Chainsaw. I mean, I know it's like somewhat popular, but I don't know if it was very good. Hi, Boda. All right. So we're looking at the PlayStation Sony State of Play. I want to play some more of this. Is this like, this isn't the gameplay, is it? I want to know who the characters are. I'm going to fast forward a little bit. I don't care about this like intro thing. Because I know they're trying to just sell the product, you know? So maybe it's like right here. 5v5. Okay, let's do this.
Sci-fi universe of the Concord Galaxy. In Concord, from the moment you log on, you are part of the crew of the North Star, a group of guns for hire known in our galaxy as Free Gunners.
Oh my God, this is straight up fan fiction. Like, it's so generic, guys. Why is this so generic? Their ship is called the North Star. Wow. How original. Never heard that before. Let me guess. Are the enemies, is the enemy ship called the Alpha Centauri or the Saturn 9 or something? Like what? Oh my God. This is like creatively bankrupt, dude. It doesn't like, you know, I don't know. It's super generic. It's a machine.
Free Gunners are those lucky enough to be free to roam the stars. High-stake jobs on worlds across wild space, where they face other fiercely competitive Free Gunner crews. Here's the very first look at the gameplay of Concord.
Free gunning. It's hard work, but it's our work, and we don't take it for granted. Being a free gunner means, well, you're free.
Right on target. Yeah, you better run.
Free gunners have a shot at making something of themselves. A chance to be someone.
All right.
Need a second to fix myself up.
Why not?
And in the wilds, it's anyone's game. You won't survive on your own.
Target blinded.
Finally, to battle. Endless rage!
We risk our lives every day to do the job.
I'll clear the way. Time to show them the big guns. That's me.
This crew will go anywhere. Take any job. Face any enemy.
Unimpressed.
We're the Free Gunner crew of the North Star. And together, we're going to make our mark on this galaxy.
Oh, well, we have Overwatch at home. Like, it's just like, dude, Overwatch is well, how old is that game? Like, oh, it's getting on probably close to 10 years. I think it's like 8 years old. I think it came out in like 2016 or something. And this is like, what is the, I hope they don't think this is some kind of like system selling game, because it looks really generic. And I guarantee you, like when Overwatch came out, okay, I played it with my wife because at the time, Lindsay, she's Canadian, and she was living in Canada, and I was in America. She was in Calgary, Alberta. I was in Chicago, Illinois. And we couldn't really see each other very often, although I would drive up there sometimes, and she would fly down and spend time with me. So what we did for a lot of the time while we were like preparing, you know, like to do our immigration papers, because, you know, we like to like do immigration legally. I know, crazy idea, right? I mean, I know it's not really like the thing to do these days, but like back in my day, we used to like fill out paperwork and, you know, spend like thousands of dollars and do everything appropriately in order to, you know, like emigrate someone that you want to marry into your country so that you can like be together and it's not like a problem, right? That they're legally here. And I know that's crazy. I know nobody does that anymore. So old fashioned, right? That's so 2016, 2017. But anyway, so we used to play Overwatch all the time and we enjoyed it quite a bit, but I started to see the wokeness creeping in. I think it was like one of the Christmas events in Overwatch. They had to tell us in like a comic strip or something that Tracer, which was like the poster child of the game, is actually a lesbian. And I was like, why are they telling us this? Like, it's a fucking first person shooter and you want to tell me this extra information I don't need. And at that time I was like, okay, this thing is fucked now. Like, we kept playing it, but sure enough, when Overwatch 2 was announced, Lindsay and I were like, nah, we're not doing it. We're like, we're not doing it. And I think that this is like how one of the ways that they get this ideological crap into your games is they make games that have a focus on characters. So games that have like heroes in them, for example. And Overwatch was one of the first ones to do it. I think I haven't played it in a while, like years, but when I used to play it, they did it. They made Tracer gay. They made Soldier 76 gay for some reason. They implied that McCree was gay. Like, just all the characters were just gay, you know? And I was like, why is that? And then of course, you know, the mechanical ones that were like robots and shit, they were like, oh, yeah, well, they're robots, so they're like non-binary. It's like, okay, like this is ridiculous, right? And they got so I didn't mind when the diversity in the game was more like how it appears in, say, the X-Men. So like one of my favorite comic books was the X-Men, but I never loved it because the characters were from, you know, had different races. It was more like they had different backgrounds, and that made them more interesting because it changed like their cultural differences, their language, their belief systems. Like, for example, in the X-Men, one of my favorite characters is Colossus, and he was like Russian, and so, you know, and he had this certain personality, and I guess people would say he's white, but like that was the furthest thing from my mind. I also really like Storm. I didn't think, oh my god, thank god a black woman. Like, I was just like, I like the character of Storm, that's it. I thought it was just a well-written, interesting character. So when Overwatch came out, I thought it was kind of like, originally it looked like it was leaning into that kind of thing where it's like, oh, we'll have these characters from different parts of the world, and they were, you know, Tracer was from England, Reinhardt was from Germany, I think it was Germany, right? McCree is American, you know, and so on, and that worked. You know, Symmetra was Indian, but now they're making you look at the thing that is sort of secondary as primary, like, oh, what's their race, what's their sexual orientation, you know, what's their gender identity, whatever. And I just was like, I'm not interested. I don't want anything to do with this anymore, because it's lost its charm. And plus, I think that it's almost like Overwatch was an idea they never fleshed out. They just focused on the heroes. They didn't really explain where any of this shit that they do comes from. And I feel like this is the same. It's like, you know, they're going to, like, there's characters that just have abilities and there's no explanation because they just want them to be different. And for gameplay purposes, it might have a purpose, but I feel like this this is a trope that's just old and like it's just not interesting anymore. So I think that it might do well. And also, I guess this is games as a service. And this is another thing. Like, this could be another Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League. Because Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League was also games as a service, right? But it had the same problem. The problem of, like, it was repetitive. Like, not just, like, the woke shit, but, like, the gameplay itself was a problem. You know, it was like not good gameplay. The servers, that there's nobody on them. This is the thing about games as a service, right? Let me do a quick calibration here. Yeah, the problem with games as a service is that if there's no community, there's no game. And it doesn't matter how good your games as a service is. Now, I don't know how many games of as a service, you know, titles are out there. The only one that I play that I'm aware of is Helldivers 2. And the thing about Helldivers 2 is I don't think it's not doing well right now because of the bullshit that Sony pulled with the, you know, like where they insist that you have to have a Sony account to play the game. And that while they backpedaled on that eventually, and that's a victory for us, so many people returned the game. The population on Helldivers is actually like a lot smaller. And the problem with that is that all of the events that they're doing, like they're doing an event right now, which is like, they call them, what do they call them? Like they're like large orders, like they're like priority orders that all the players have to accomplish. And it as a concept, live service games are good because it's kind of like a way to keep doing new and interesting things, but only as long as you don't, like, you know, kill your players with microtransactions, which Helldivers does not do. It does have a method for you to like buy things, like by spending real money, but you don't have to do any of that. You could grind, and it's not even really a grind because the game is fun to play. But if you just play the game, you can unlock everything that's there. There's nothing behind a paywall, right? That I know of, except maybe the Super Citizen thing. But I don't think that's worth much. It's just like a different armor suit that doesn't do anything. But like aside from that, I think it's fine. But the problem is that like this standing order is what they call it. You have to destroy a planet, and it's like a whole new way of like a new sort of mode, you could say, of missions. But if no one's playing because the population is smaller, then it's not going to be as engaging. And I think that Arrowhead Studios got fucked by Sony out of this whole thing. And it's really a shame because I think the game is good. But this is also supposed to be games as a service. And I think this is just not a good move. And maybe we need the games. I think the games industry has to suffer a hit. I think there has to be a collapse, at least in the AAA space, because, you know, these games as a service things, they are ambitious, but very few of them are going to work. Okay, let me see what you guys are saying in the chat before we go to the next game here. So, I do not understand the fascination with these games. Robert Johnson, John Ford, Overwatch at home, very funny. Jim Giraffe, what's up, man? Art Force says it's basically an expansion of the 90s gay quota character trope. Yeah, it hasn't stopped, but it's really boring, right? Like, it's very predictable. Like, I can tell you right now in this game, a couple of characters are going to be gay, probably the female ones. The robot and one of the other aliens is going to be non-binary, and they're going to use the fact that he's an alien as precedent. They're going to be like, well, you know, how do you know what the gender of an alien is? We're making this up. They're non-binary, right? And then, but that's not really what it's about. It's not about creating an interesting, you know, it's not world building. It's just ideological push, right? Nobody questioned the you know, I did a show with Allison, and I was talking about the Martians from Mars Attacks, because we were going through a video about fembots, and they were using the Martian. If you guys ever seen Mars Attacks, I love that movie. It's great. And there's a scene in Mars Attacks where one of the Martians disguises himself as a woman and goes into the White House to assassinate the president. That was the purpose, right? And we're talking about it, and the video is referring to the disguised assassin as a woman, And I was like, Allison, the Martians are genderless. Like they don't show anything. I mean, they seem to be horn dogs too, so who knows? But they don't appear to be male or female. They're just Martians. But it wasn't like Tim Burton was like, I'm going to talk about gender now. No, he just said, look, this is a comedy. These are Martians, and they're just trying to kill. They're trying to conquer the planet. That's all. Like that's it. It doesn't matter. But these people, they can't help themselves. They have to make everything about some of their own shit, and this makes them useful idiots. John Ford says, "Yep, good movie. Yeah, I love Mars Attacks. It's very funny and non-PC. I love that the Martians just kick ass. All right, but anyway, I'm gonna play some more of this. I think they're gonna show a little bit more of the gameplay. I don't want to get too much into it though.
The crew is gathering. Would you like to join us for game night?
With Concord, we lean on the strengths and background of our team to make a tight, well-balanced FPS that feels great to play. We focused a ton of our attention and our tech on building a strong gameplay foundation of tight core movement, precise visceral shooting, and expressive abilities.
We ended up finding ourselves influenced a lot by fighting games and even strategy games in the interesting way that the asymmetry of their characters makes every fight, every matchup feel really different.
Leaning into the asymmetry of the characters, really pushing the possibility space of two different characters.
Ooh, look at that guy.
It's all about creating opportunities for improvisation. That's where we can get out of the way and let players find their own magic. We also have abilities that are meant to have impact beyond direct combat. Deployable gear that can persist throughout a full game, so whether that's multiple rounds of a mode or multiple respawns across a match. There are healing pads, bullet blocking domes, explosive traps, lane blocking walls, all kinds of ways to support your team or disrupt your enemies. Coordinated teams can set up and plan ahead, and depending on where and when it happens, players can shift the battlefield to their advantage.
We've got everything from mystics and medics to gunslingers and sparked robots. Every character brings their own unique personality, skills, and wide-ranging perspectives to the
Oh my god, wait. What was that?
Everything from mystics and medics to gunslingers.
All right, so Lennox oh my god, look, pronouns. Look, you see it? Lennox Warden, he, him. What? Dude, no. Oh, no. Dude, pronouns. Do you see it? Oh, you can't. Can you see it in the upper right corner? He, him. Guys, this thing is paused. It's paused as fuck. All right, let me see. Off. One off. Oh, that's his name. Okay. He, him. Oh, it's good to know the robot has a fucking sex. Okay. I guess. She, her. All right. Oh my god. So stunning and so brave. Theo, he, him. I want to see if there's like a weird non-binary.
Own unique
Star Child, he, him. Okay. Breacher.
Personality.
Haymar, she, her. All right. I mean, like, she's already a woman of color. We don't want to like add too many layers in one place, right? So Art4 says, also, is it me or do the in-engine graphics look like something from 2014? It's not the graphics. Like, you can tell that it's pretty, like, high res and a high frame rate. It's the art direction. The art direction is definitely, like, 2014. You know, I think that I think a really well art-directed game doesn't have to have good graphics. Or like the most high-end like engine behind it. Again, I'm gonna refer to Helldivers 2. I think that it has a really interesting art direction and it's handled well enough for what it is, despite that it's a much smaller game. So
skills and
Tactician, undecided. Well, when she figures it out, I'm sorry. When they figure it out, we'll know. Lark. I think that's a woman. I'm just going to say it. I think that's a female character. And they just want us to be confused. Undecided. Undecided. Is that even... I didn't know that was a gender. What color is that on the flag? What color is that? Can anybody help me? Is it constantly changing? Is it kind of like a, like a rotating set of hues? What does it mean? Undecided.
Wide-ranging.
Imari, she, her. That was what made me want to pause and go back. Oh, I'm sorry. This looks This is bad. This is so bad. That looks terrible. Who's gonna play this game? This looks bad. Like, these are not good designs, man. They may be different, but they don't look good at all. I mean, like, you remember there's a game. I don't know if anybody played it, but around the time that Overwatch was coming out, Gearbox had its own game that was a competitor. Maybe it was just bad timing. It wasn't trying to accomplish the same things, but gosh, I can't remember it. I know there was like a mushroom character you could play as, and it was kind of like an alien, like hero shooter. Maybe there were more mission-based things, or it had like a MOBA aspect. Thank you so much for the subscribe, vampire follower. Really appreciate it. Thank you for joining us. And if you want to, there is a link to the Discord server in the description of this video. This could be a long stream. I'm going to try not to go too long, but there's a lot of ground I want to cover. So really appreciate it. Check out the Discord in the description of this video. All right. So there was this game. It was a competitor it was kind of like seen as an like similar to Overwatch around the time that Overwatch came out. I believe it was put out by Gearbox, and I remember it failing like catastrophically because Overwatch was so successful, and now I'm having second thoughts about whether or not that game should have failed, because maybe it would have been better in the long run. I don't know. Like, the characters on there seemed more interesting. You know, I think there was like a fencer. I don't remember it though. I didn't play it. I think I played the demo and didn't really get into it too much. And I felt I had to pick one, so I picked Overwatch, but that was because everybody else was on it. This is another one of the issues with these like kind of like online all the time live service games, is that if enough people are on one platform or on one title, then it legitimizes that title, and in a way it's artificial because it may not actually be the best game. Like, I'm sure that you guys can think of, for example, MMORPGs that did not do as well as, say, World of Warcraft, but probably deserved to. But because everyone was on World of Warcraft was treated as a de facto best MMO, only because everyone was on it. And so if more people were on the other ones, it probably would have been a better product in the long run. Like me, I never got into World of Warcraft. When it came to MMOs, I haven't played MMOs in years. I'm not going to play MMOs. They're too much of a time sink for me. But when I did, I was really into City of Heroes. And City of Heroes was like a second place game to WoW. And then later I got into Champions Online for a while, because I kind of liked that it was like a different idea. Some people really like playing. There was like a space one. There was a Star Wars one that was very popular. I never played it though. And there was a Star Trek MMO, I think, that might have been really good. But like, I'm saying that the problem with online games is its legitimacy is sort of artificially inflated, potentially, by the size of the audience on a given platform, if that makes sense. So,
perspectives to the crew.
Ranger, he, him. Again, okay, fine, whatever. These characters are so generic too, by the way. It's funny how like there's just like aliens and then there's like blacks and Asians. Do you see that? Like there's like no white people in this game. I think there's like one white dude and that's it. It seems like everyone else is either black, Asian, or an alien, like completely not human at all. So I like, can it get any more obvious? Okay, I think I've seen enough of this. Let's go to, I don't care about God of War. I kind of want to look at, I don't care about this one. Most of this is generic. I want to look at Silent Hill too, because there's something in there that's definitely worth talking about. So let me find, and there's like some VR shit, but I don't think VR is going to take off. So, all right, that's not it. Path to Exile looks pretty good, actually. All right, here's Silent Hill. Let's start. All right.
Excuse me.
sorry.
All right, right off the bat. So if anyone's ever played Silent Hill 2, this character, I can't remember her name, but she's one of the side characters you meet in the game, and she already looks awful. Like that, like look at the jawline. They always do it, the jawline and like the flat chest. She looked more, there was something about like older games where they didn't have as much processing power to work with. There were limitations on the hardware and the engines that they were running on. And so when they made male characters and female characters, there was a kind of like, they had to make it a generic template. You know what I mean? What's with that face? Yeah, she's jawed up. She's jawed up to look more androgynous. It's about androgyny at the end of the day. I have PS2 version. I do too. I hear that people are saying that this Silent Hill 2 remake looks like the HD remaster of Silent Hill 2 looks better than this. I have the OG PS2 version of Silent Hill 2. I still have all my old shit.
I was just...
It's okay. I didn't mean to scare you. I'm kind of lost. I'm looking for Silent Hill.
I think you should stay away. This town, there's something wrong with it.
Is it dangerous?
Maybe.
I'll be careful.
I'm not lying.
Look at, wait, let me go back a little bit.
Is it dangerous?
Maybe.
I'll be careful.
I'm not lying.
Look at that. Now, I saw there was some photos circulating. Maybe I should look them up. Give me a second here. I'm going to look it up. Switch back to the chat for a second. There was some photos circulating that said that this is a self-insert. They changed the character into a self-insert. So let me see if I can find it. I will go to, I think Grums made a post about it. I retweeted him. So I'm going to look in my own Twitter feed here. If I can find it. Just give me a moment. But yes, I think that this is a self-insert. Let me know what you guys think. John Ford said it was on Xbox and PC too. Yeah, Silent Hill 2, sure. Where's Grums? Here we go. Let's go to Grums. Okay. And let me see. Yep, here we go. Got it. All right. I take one little vacation from gaming and X and look what happens. All right, let me switch back to this so you guys can see it. Yeah. So I love this. This is the absolute state of play for sure. The absolute state. Let me go back. Grums also made another post about this. Concord, the new game from Firewalk Studios, is so focused on inclusive teams, they forgot the white guys in their game. Inclusive should not mean racist against white people, but it too often does. Concord is such a modern, progressive, and diverse game that you can't even find a single white character in it. There's this, I think this one here might be white, but maybe he's Latino. Because I know that we Latinos, we get lumped in with white people when it's convenient, but then not white people when it's not. So it's all about like what's useful. Yeah, of course we know that this is what it is. I'm pretty sure he shared like something about Silent Hill, but I'm not seeing it. Oh yeah, here it is. The jaw every time. This is the thing I wanted to show you. So this is what the image on the right is what she looked like in the original game cutscenes and the game engine, and the image on the left is what she looks like now. Let's count the differences. Number one, the jawline. She looks like the fedora hat tipping atheist meme guy. Like that's the jaw. She's got like, she might as well have like some beard hairs. Why not? And it's like the worst, bro. And her eyebrows are thick as hell. Look at those eyebrows, the caterpillars, and her lips are all like tiny. I mean, it doesn't, and she's got like this turtleneck is way up here, whereas this one was a little bit more relaxed. Like these are not small changes, look at that. What the fuck is that? This is on purpose. It's about uglifying art. Yeah. It's about uglifying art on purpose. This is not about expression. This is not about inclusivity. This is not about moving forward. That lower face is overweight teenage boy. Yeah, right. Look at this. Oh shit. So this is this game does it's I'm sorry, bros. If you're what was that? What was that sound? Something crash? Shit. Should I be worried? Oh, I got a notification. It's Windows. Shut up, Windows. Leave me alone. All right. So yeah, so this doesn't look good. If you were looking forward to a remake, I'm sorry, but that ain't happening. Here's somebody just took made an AI. So like, obviously more attractive. I don't even need it to be this hot. Like that, you know, like it doesn't need, because this is a little over the top in the other direction, but I don't think it's bad. I don't know. What do you guys think? Like, I think this is miles better than this, for sure.